Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for the second CCP video on the brand new champion coming to the contest on June 11th, Tigra. So if you guys missed the first video, we talked about the new champion coming, Hitmonkey. He's really dope. He sounds kind of like a mix of Corvus and like Nick Fury. Sounds pretty crazy. So you guys should definitely check that one out. But yeah, so this one we're jumping into Tigra. So she's Mystic, and again, she's coming out first. So about Tigra, a little bit of a backstory here. So Greer Nelson was once a superhero going by the name Cat, who was gravely injured pursuing members of Hydra. In an effort to save her life, her ex-boss performed an ancient ritual which resulted in her possession by Tigra, the greatest warrior from a race of humanoid cat people. It's interesting. I don't think I knew who this character was, so yeah, cool little origin story there. So Tigra's mechanics. While attacking, Tigra neutralizes her opponents, preventing them from gaining any buffs and pausing the duration of her primal and huntress senses. These senses increase Tigra's power gain and damage output while charging her heavy attack. Tigra causes all non-contact hits during special attacks to miss, making it easy to punish, difficult to avoid special attacks, and maintain her aggressive game plan. That's pretty crazy. So if an opponent, let's say Punisher, throws an L2, all those guns, pew pew pew. If you charge her heavy attack, all those gunshots will miss. That's insane. That's pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy ability. So we're talking about it a bit more. But the base stats and abilities here. So the prestige of a 5-star, 10,640. You know, not bad. For 6-star, 13,680. Again, not bad. Decent health pool, decent attack. So that's 6-star rank 3, yeah. So she's Mystic, so her basic abilities are Neutralize, Rupture, Primal Sense, and Huntress Sense. So strengths. Opponents generating buffs when struck. So now this was, for Hitmonkey, you know, I read through his abilities one time, and I had a pretty good understanding of how he worked. I've had to read through these abilities at least twice, and read some of the talk in the CCP Discord about her to really get a better understanding, because I was a little confusing on how everything works here. But I have a pretty good understanding now, but it's still a bit weird. So Tigra's attacks neutralize the opponent, preventing them from gaining buffs. If the opponent fails to gain a buff through chance while Neutralize is active, it is removed and replaced with Rupture, dealing physical damage. So it says opponents generating buffs when struck. So I don't think it's buffs that just naturally get activated. It's only buffs that are triggered when struck. So for example, you know, Thing, when you're attacking him and you push him over 15 rock stacks, he gains an Unstoppable. So this Neutralize ability should work on something like that. But for something like Juggernaut, when he throws his L1, you know, and he gets an Unstoppable, I don't think it would work on something like that. So it's a little bit of a weird kind of new mechanic here. So if Huntress Sense is active, this also generates power for Tigra. If Primal Sense is active, this also deals a burst of physical damage. So opponents with non-contact special attacks, while charging your heavy attack, Tigra causes non-contact special attacks to miss, allowing her to avoid otherwise unavoidable special attacks and punish them easily. Very, very interesting ability there. So, for example, you know, she could probably evade the Collector's specials. As long as there's nothing hindering her miss ability, she could evade the Collector's abilities, which would be pretty crazy. Opponents with punishable heavy attacks. Tigra's heavy attack inflicts long-lasting ruptures and will be an important part of her offensive game plan. Opponents with easily punishable heavy attacks like Iron Man, Infinity War, Nova, or Medusa will be easy targets for Tigra. And some weaknesses here: high physical resistance. Physical resistance will greatly reduce the effectiveness of Tigra's rupture debuffs. Weakness, slow, exhaustion debuffs. So while under the effects of slow, weakness, or exhaustion debuffs, Tigra is unable to activate her miss or unblockable abilities. And debuff immunity: if the opponent purifies debuffs or reduces their duration significantly, Tigra will lose out on the majority of her damage. So those are some of the weaknesses there. So the following stats are based on 565. So all attacks on hit inflict a non-stacking passive Neutralize for 2.5 seconds. So this is not a buff. If this Neutralize is already active, its duration is refreshed. Instead, neutralized opponents have minus 100% buff ability accuracy. While the opponent is neutralized, if they fail to gain a buff through chance, inflict Rupture. And I think this Rupture is a debuff. dealing 132 physical damage over 1 second, cooldown 1 second. That doesn't sound like a lot of damage, but with some of her other abilities, you can make this physical damage pretty crazy. So developers note, neutralize the only way Tigra can interact with opponents' buffs. She will excel and shut down opponents generating buffs when they are struck, but any other buffs will be untouchable. So again, it's kind of weird how this ability works. I think it'll be much easier when I can kind of see it and test it for myself, but I think I have a good understanding of how it works right now on paper. So heavy attacks. While charging a heavy attack and for 0.10 seconds after launching a heavy attack, all non-contact hits from special attacks have a 100% chance to miss. So yeah, that's the ability I was talking about. That sounds pretty insane. That sounds like it has a lot of utility just in and of itself. Could be pretty crazy, man. So if Tigra interrupts the opponent's attack or causes them to miss while charging this attack, each hit inflicts rupture, dealing 1,300 physical damage over 18 seconds. So this is an extremely long rupture. Again, I'm pretty sure this is a debuff. So again, a long debuff. But the only way to apply it is if the opponent misses from the previous ability, charging the heavy attack, and it's a special non-contact special attack, or interrupting the opponent's attack. So that'll be, like intercepting with this. I think it could do that. I think the easiest way is going to be just heavy countering. So, you bait out a heavy attack from the opponent, and while they're throwing that heavy, you punish them with your heavy, and then that should activate one of these ruptures. So developers note here, Tigra's heavy attack is the most important attack for her to land. Keeping these long duration ruptures on the opponent will lead to insane damage through the special 2. Insane damage, and that's the developer's words. Special attacks. If the opponent is, so this is just for all special attacks, special 1 and 2. I mean, special 3 doesn't count because it's different. It's gonna hit. But if the opponent is far away from Tigra at any point during a special attack, she gains unblockable for the next hit. I mean, maybe in the special 3 they're really far away and you get it. I doubt it, but hey, you never know. I haven't seen the special 3. But landing in a blockable strike inflicts rupture, dealing 1,320 physical damage over 8 seconds. Developers note, dash back before launching a special attack to get a free unblockable strike. It's kind of cool. Unblockable specials are always nice. So fighting non-cosmic champions, if affected by weakness, slow, or exhaustion debuffs, prevent the activation of Tigra's personal miss and unblockable effects. So yeah, she's going to be very gimped against slow, weakness, or exhaustion, which kind of sucks because there's that one node long distance relationship that applies the weakness, so she would be very good for that. So just thinking offhand. So now let's talk about some of her specials. So special 1, claws and effect. On activation, alternate between triggering Primal Sense and Huntress Sense. Senses last for 14 seconds. Duration is paused while the opponent is neutralized. Primal Sense, whenever inflicting rupture, deal a burst of up to 2,200 physical damage based on the number of damaging debuffs on the opponent. So again, I think that is based on the amount of ruptures you have on the opponent. This damage is increased by 100% during special attacks. That's nice. And then Huntress Sense, 10% chance for all non-contact attacks from special attacks to miss. Whenever inflicting rupture or causing the opponent to miss, generate 10% of a bar of power. So a nice way to gain power here, whenever you inflict a rupture with Huntress Sense active, you're going to gain 10% of a bar of power. And when the opponent misses, you're going to gain 10% of a bar of power. I wonder if, like, for Punisher's special 2, for example, if missing like all those hits is going to gain you a ton of power, because that could be pretty crazy. Yeah, because I think that's how it works. For 10% chance for all non-contact attacks to miss, and then whenever inflicting rupture or causing the opponent to miss, because they would miss multiple hits, you get multiple activations on that 10% of bar power. That could be pretty crazy. You could get to a special 2 pretty quick. So developers note here, maintaining Primal Sense and Huntress Sense is crucial for Tigra. Keep an eye on timers. If you think they will run up before launching a special 2, launch a couple special ones first. So special 2, Crouching Tiger. Each hit has a 10% chance to inflict rupture, dealing 2,200 physical damage over 4 seconds. Each damaging debuff on the opponent increases the chance of inflicting rupture during a special attack by a flat 10%. So again, damaging debuffs on the opponent can just be more of those ruptures. So if you use a bunch of heavy attacks first to punish the opponent's heavy attacks, stack up a bunch of those ruptures, then drop the special 2, it's going to increase your chance to apply more ruptures, and you can deal more damage, and you can, with applying more of these ruptures, if you have the Huntress sense active here, then that's going to give you power back. And I think Kabam John said you could like almost, if you're playing her like perfectly, you can almost like loop into special 2s with this. So that could be pretty crazy. And like the developer's words, you can get insane damage on the special 2. If you can start to loop it, you're looking at some pretty nutty damage. So that sounds pretty cool, man. That sounds pretty cool. So a developer note here, this is Tigra's damaging special attack. Looping heavy attacks into her offense will ensure this attack is used to its full effect. And then we have special 3 here. Pray for Mercy. Gain Primal Sense and Huntress Sense for 14 seconds. Inflict a non-stacking indefinite rupture dealing 132 physical damage every 0.5 seconds. This rupture is removed and reapplied each time Tigra lands an unblockable strike. So this is pretty crazy. The special 3 is going to activate both of your senses and a permanent rupture on the opponent, which that sounds awesome, man. So developer note here, for longer fights, it's a good idea to throw special 3 at least once. This indefinite rupture will reapply itself each time you land an unblockable strike, meaning you get 2 bursts of physical damage with while Primal Sense is active. So yeah, man, that sounds pretty crazy. And then if you have your Tigra awakened, the signature ability here, Warrior Spirit, start the fight with Primal Sense and Huntress Sense for 12 seconds. So developers note the signature ability will help Tigra immensely in shorter fights, allowing Tigra to head straight for special 2. So that sounds pretty ridiculous. So you're probably going to want to have her at a pretty high sig for short fights, because the number bolded right here is 12. So I'm assuming that this number is at like a sig 200. It's 12 seconds, so you know, probably sig 100 is probably like 6 seconds or something like that, you know, which isn't that long. So yeah, it sounds like your sig is going to be pretty important for shorter fights, but that's pretty cool. And then we got some interesting synergies. One of the coolest synergies I think I've seen in a long time is with Hawkeye here, actually. So Hawkeye's personal bleed abilities inflict poison instead. That's pretty cool, man. I remember like just on one of Brian's streams, we're talking about Hawkeye and like how he should be able to have like different arrow types, and different arrow types should be able to do different things. And it would make total sense that, like, you know, one of his arrows, sure, that bleeds the opponent, but then you could have like a poison lace tip arrow, so you poison the opponent. You know, you could have an incinerary arrow. You know, you could get creative with it. You know, an electric arrow that shocks the opponent, or something like that. You know, an EMP arrow that shuts down robots. You know, like, there's so much you can do with Hawkeye. So this is pretty cool that you can turn his bleeds into poisons. I'd love to see more with Hawkeye. More abilities like that. But yeah, that's cool. You know, that's a cool synergy. It makes him better against bleed immune characters, and there's not a whole lot of champions just in the game that can apply poison. So another one that can do it, you know, that's cool. And so Tigra, she gets here, opponents have minus 80% purified ability accuracy for 0.25 seconds after being struck. It's interesting. And here we have a feline possession with Black Panther and Black Panther Civil War. This one's actually pretty good. Nullify any unstoppable buffs while the opponent is suffering the effects of rupture. So this could actually potentially make her an option for the 6.2 champion boss. So that's cool. I like that. I like that. Then we have one here with Vulture, Venom the Duck, or sorry, Howard the Duck. Tiger when fighting #small champions. Heavy attacks have 50% increased attack rating. It's pretty good. And then big game hunters with Elsa Bloodstone when fighting large and XL champions increase the duration of rupture effects by 25%. So some interesting synergies for fighting different sized champions. And then we got some recommended, or we actually have one more synergy here with Luke Cage, Iron Man, and Moon Knight. All champions gain 5% power. Just a little power gain synergy. But as far as the recommended masteries go, Despair, so Tiger won't have much trouble stacking up enough debuffs on the opponent to prevent them from healing. Just all those ruptures. And then Assassin, Tiger's higher than normal attack rating will scale very well with any mastery giving her attack boosts. And then we have Mystic Dispersion here, so even though Tiger can't nullify any buffs, if a buff does expire on the opponent, she will still receive a healthy chunk of power, which makes sense. So, you know, just like, for example, again, fighting the 6.2 champion boss, even if you don't have that synergy, you know, his buffs do expire. They're on a time-based thing, so then they can get pretty crazy. So all those buffs expiring could give her a nice chunk of power, just for an example. But yeah, so Tigra, she sounds pretty crazy if you can play her right. It sounds like she can hit pretty hard. Dave said she's a pretty fun character to play with some pretty crazy damage, so she sounds cool, pretty unique in the fact that, you know, you can essentially phase through non-contact special attacks. I think that's one of the coolest pieces of utility that I saw from her. So yeah, she definitely seems unique. Which is good. You know, the more unique niche type champions in the game to cover more stuff is always welcome. So yeah, I'm excited. Overall, I'm more excited for Hitmonkey. He definitely sounds cooler to me personally. He sounds so sick. Like a skill Corvus, but like a Nick Fury Corvus type champion. If they had a baby or something, like, I don't know, Hitmonkey sounds pretty dope, man. And I got a skill T5 CC and a skill Awakening Gem for 6 stars. So I mean, yeah, man, I don't know, but I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. If you didn't already see the Hitmonkey one, I definitely suggest you check it out. He's looking pretty dope, like I just said. But yeah, if you enjoyed the breakdown, drop a like. It really does help me out, and I really do appreciate it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.